Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we are jumping right into a brand new explainer, and we're breaking down a gripping, futuristic sci-fi narrative that honestly completely blew my mind. We're going to explore this wild story about identity, artificial intelligence, and that terrifyingly thin line between man and machine. Our focus today is on a solitary designer named Umair, whose life takes a totally unimaginable turn. Let's unpack this thrilling journey together.
Take a second and really think about this. What actually happens when you take your own consciousness, your very own thought patterns, and you use them to train an army of artificial intelligence? Do you remain you, or does the machine become you? This is the core premise that hooks us right from the get-go. It really sets the tone for this fast-paced, high-stakes story where the boundaries between human empathy and robotic programming become dangerously blurred.
All right, let's start right at the beginning with Phase 1, the AI training project, where an ordinary life takes a massive turn toward the extraordinary.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand Umair's journey, we first have to understand the tech he's working with. It's called EEG technology, which stands for a brain-to-computer interface. So Umair's this highly skilled yet super solitary designer who gets recruited for a groundbreaking job that forces him to relocate from New York all the way to Los Angeles. And his task? Well, he has to use this exact technology to perfectly copy his own unique thinking patterns and upload them into a brand new line of public service and military robots. Basically, they want these machines to process situations and make decisions exactly like he does.
So the company puts Umair on this absolutely grueling 3-year AI training protocol. Step 1 is daily brain pattern logging, where he essentially downloads his mind into the system day after day. Step 2 involves periodic deep dive reviews every few weeks, just to make sure the data is pristine. And then Step 3 is the uniform robot synchronization, literally pushing his mind into this AI army. What's wonderfully human about this phase of the story, though, is that Umair is incredibly lonely out in LA. Get this, he actually takes his very first paycheck and buys a simple bicycle just to commute to this high-tech lab every single day. It's just a quiet, isolated routine. Well, until it isn't.
That quiet routine shatters in Phase 2, the gangster ambush. The tone of our story is about to shift dramatically. What's really wild is just how fast things escalate here. It's about a year into his project. At 10 p.m., Umair is heading home on his bicycle and takes a familiar shortcut down a dark alley. At 10:15 p.m., he hears screams. He watches as this violent mob of gangsters attacks a black SUV, trying to drag the driver right out of the car. But right at 10:20 p.m., boom, we hit the turning point. The company's robots, which just happen to be nearby, instantly and perfectly synchronize. Because they share Umair's exact mind and his protective instincts, they immediately leap into action to violently defend the victim, fighting off these gangsters as a totally unified front.
Amidst all that chaos of the robots fighting the mob, we enter Phase 3, the mysterious pendant.
Seeing things going totally sideways, Umair grabs his bicycle and just flees the bloody scene, racing back to the one place he knows is secure, the laboratory. He bypasses the security protocols he knows by heart and finds the chief of the department. But the gangsters, they aren't far behind. They track him to the lab, demanding the man on the bicycle be handed over. The chief flat out refuses. Instead, in this wildly tense moment, the chief shoves a mysterious pendant into Umair's hand. It contains a hidden USB drive. The chief gives him one final order: flee immediately into the unknown. So Umair runs, pushing himself to the absolute limit, until suddenly, out of nowhere, everything just goes black.
When he finally regains consciousness, the world has entirely changed. Welcome to Phase 4, the Chicago Underground Lab.
Umair wakes up, battered, bruised, and bleeding on a cold wooden bench in this desolate, quiet park. He has literally no idea how he got there. But as he opens his eyes, he gets hit with a blinding headache. Suddenly, he starts experiencing these severe visual hallucinations. A digital heads-up display, a HUD, begins blinking directly across his field of vision, flashing a chilling message. System syncing. Target located, Chicago. This relentlessly blinking internal GPS is forcing him toward a destination he doesn't know, for reasons he doesn't even understand. Following the blinking lights in his own vision, he somehow travels all the way from LA to Chicago. This brilliantly illustrates his resourcefulness. Step 1 is locating this abandoned underground warehouse. But step 2 presents a massive problem. There's a heavily locked terminal. He tries to use that mysterious USB pendant the chief gave him, but it completely fails. The system just won't accept it. Which leads us to step 3. In a moment of total desperation, Umair remembers the lab's security protocols and leans his battered face right into the scanner. Instantly, the heavy doors unlock. His face alone is enough to grant him access to a hidden, high-tech, underground medical bag.
1. That represents the full month that Umair spends locked inside this underground lab being tended to by automated medical robots. For one entire month, he heals from his severe injuries, but as his physical wounds close, the doctors give him some truly terrifying news. Those digital HUD hallucinations blinking in his eyes? Yeah, they aren't going away. They are now a permanent, integrated part of his physiology. Which brings us right to the explosive climax of Umair's journey. Phase 5, Cybernetic Awakening. Umair eventually leaves the Chicago safe house, hoping to just find some peace. But the past never stays buried, does it? The mob tracks him down on the open road. He gets ambushed by mobsters on motorcycles. During this insane high-speed chase, they viciously push him right into the path of an oncoming truck. It's a near-fatal collision. He hits the asphalt hard, sliding across the rough road, the friction violently tearing the skin right off his arm. But here's the thing, he doesn't bleed. Instead, as the skin peels away, a gleaming metallic robotic endoskeleton is revealed beneath. The horrifying, jaw-dropping twist hits him all at once. He isn't human. He is a robot.
In that exact moment of shock, as he's staring at his own metal arm, his internal HUD interface flares to life with a brand new message. You've got a new power activated. Because his physical shell was critically damaged, the system's hidden combat protocols override absolutely everything else. That gentle, solitary AI trainer is gone, replaced instantly by something built for war.
Let's just compare who he was to who he has become. The old Umair was a quiet, solitary designer who rode a bicycle and was incredibly vulnerable to the world. But the new Umair, he's a full-on cybernetic agent. Guided by his visual HUD, he is suddenly an absolute master of mixed martial arts. In a spectacular, perfectly synchronized fight, he unleashes his newly unlocked lethality, absolutely decimating the entire mob that tried to kill him. It is a stunning display of robotic precision mixed with human protective instinct.
But in our modern world, nothing stays hidden for long. During this epic, brutal fight against the mob, a random bystander pulls out their phone and hits record. That footage hits the internet and immediately goes wildly viral. The whole world now knows that a highly advanced, lethal cyborg is literally walking the streets. With his face everywhere, Umair has no choice but to completely abandon his life and flee to the United States, heading out into the wider world to escape capture.
So, the absolutely crucial point we are left with is this final question. We watched Umair spend years uploading his human mind into robots, only to discover that his own flesh was hiding a metal skeleton all along. So, if the Umair we followed was a robot himself, then who was the original human Umair? Where is he? Did he ever actually exist at all? It's a mind-bending paradox that just completely flips the entire narrative on its head. It leaves us so desperate to know what happens next in his journey. I really hope this explainer helped you grasp the incredible layers of this sci-fi puzzle. Keep asking questions, keep looking past the surface, and I'll catch you on the next one.